This is the Financially Simple Podcast, a show dedicated to destroying the complexities of money for today's small business owner. And now, here's your host, pizza-loving, certified financial planner, Justin Goodbread.
Welcome to Financially Simple. This is a finance show for small business owners about money, how it works in our business and personal lives, and how we can build wealth to be financially independent. I'm your host, Justin Goodbread, and today I'm launching a new series. Now, this will be the third series, and this is going to be probably the longest series to date. This series is centered around the most popular question that I receive from people when they find out that I work with small business owners. So the title of this series is called Growing the Value of Your Business. And I must tell you, this particular series is near and dear to my heart. You may hear me, just maybe, hear me get worked up a little bit in this series for many reasons. Let me explain why this is such a big deal. As a lifelong entrepreneur, I have just about heard and seen everything, and I've dealt with everything you could think of. However, this one particular event happened early in my life, which changed my perspective on, and I'm doing some air quote here, professionals. So it changed my perspective on the professionals of the world. In a novice state, as a small business owner, I needed help making decisions about how to grow my company. And in my ignorance, I looked up a financial advisor at a national firm, scheduled an appointment, and had a meeting only to hear the, quote, professional say, not exactly, they were a little bit more tactful than this, but they basically said, look, if you don't have any money to invest, I can't help you. So I turned to the accounting world. So I went to meet with a CPA, or a certified public accountant, and the CPA was only worried about completing my tax returns, and they wanted to keep my books in order. Now, they offered a little bit of insight in how and when to make moves in my business, but man, I sure was lacking. So I needed someone who could help me. So I heard, Justin, get a business coach. So after finding a business coach, which has actually owned a business before, that's one of my points of frustration. Let me just sidebar here. Many times we'll have these business coaches that leave the corporate world who's never started a business in their life. They just opine on this theoretic idea of what they think businesses should be like, and they tell us small business owners, well, here's what you should do. And just because they had success in corporate America, this is just me. I told you I'm going to have a couple tangents here, but just because these, quote, business owners had success in corporate America doesn't mean it's going to work in the small business world. It just many times doesn't. So anyways, I found this business coach, and this individual had me focused on my mission and my vision. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with focusing on your mission and your vision, but it did very little to add value in the areas of my business which would cause growth. Then when it came time to sell the business, I was let down as to the value of my company. I went to meet with the appraiser, and the appraiser showed me several various things they looked at in determining the value of my company. Now, I did sell my company, as you know, but I can remember saying to myself that if I knew this, I would have grown my company to a higher value. So now fast forward a few years, and now I'm in my early 30s. I've already sold a couple of businesses at this point, and I once again found myself looking to grow, this time, the value of my company. So this time I knew a little bit more about the process. I knew that I obviously should grow revenue, but just because you grow revenue doesn't mean that you're going to grow value. But after some searching, I discovered the people who knew exactly what I needed to do to grow my small business were too busy working with much larger companies, and I really couldn't afford these. I couldn't afford the people who I needed the help from. They were working with companies that were producing $30, $50, $100 million a year in revenue. And here I am, a small business owner, trying to turn my first little bit of profit to feed my family. So I began educating myself. And I began educating myself for my personal gain. Again, a little self-serving. Yes, I get that. We all tend to do that a little bit. And truth be told, the more I learned and the more I applied my knowledge that I had learned to my company flourished. My company, Heritage Investors, has grown unbelievably because of my knowledge that I've gained and the experience and hours upon hours upon hours upon literally hours of study, books upon books and chapters. And man, I tell you, I've read so much about business. But then the big break came for me back in 2009. A friend of mine asked me if I could help them grow their company. And I'm going to use very loose terms for this particular friend's sake. But like it was yesterday, I can remember asking my friend, do you want to grow a company that is profitable or a company that is valuable? And I remember him, her, they looking at me with a puzzled look, perhaps the same way you have just kind of thought when I asked that question. So let me ask that again. Do you want to grow a company that is profitable or a company that is valuable? You see, there is a clear distinction, and I'm going to address that distinction just in a couple of episodes from now. But after explaining that clear distinction, my friend elected to grow a company that is valuable. So we began. And within a few years, this company was now gaining national notoriety. And people began inquiring how the company grew like it did. Of course, the whole time, my Heritage Investors is growing, and we're getting national press. And now people start asking, buddy, how did you grow your company? His reply was, I focused on value. When people ask me about my company, Heritage Investors, man, Justin, you've grown so amazing. And in this short period of time, how do you do it? I focused on value. So now fast forward some 8 years. I'm almost 40 years old, and I've helped over 100 companies grow in value. I feel that the knowledge we'll cover in the following episodes will lay the foundation to help you grow your company. So with that, let me tell you a little bit about what's coming up in the episodes and what we're going to tackle. So we're going to go through an introductory series about why we even need to focus on value. What is value? So we're going to go through those. We're going to deal with the objectivity of business owners. We're going to deal with the fact one study says that many companies could double or triple in 5 years period of time, their value in a 5 year period of time. Can you imagine doubling or tripling your company in a 3 to 5 year period of time? There's a study which actually says that. We're going to deal with qualitative versus quantitative. We're going to deal with high value companies and how they deal with certain bulls. I'm going to call it the bull. We're going to deal with what is value. How do you determine what value is? Is it growth? Is it profitability? What exactly is value? How's it calculated? What are some terms we need to know? You know, here's one. What is company specific risk? Is it even a big deal? What's the DuPont formula, and is it outdated? How do you add value? We're going to look at a four steps to add value to your company. And then we're going to break down the 8 core areas of business. I'm telling you, these 8 core areas of business is the foundation. We're going to do deep dives, and it may take us a couple of episodes per core area. We're going to deal with balance. We're going to deal with personalities and values. In the core areas, we're going to deal with planning and leadership and sales and marketing and people and operations and finance. And whoa, we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about how to apply those through a term called strategic planning. What exactly is strategic planning? How do we deal with it? Does the corporate world have it correct? Can we utilize the blue chip companies' strategic planning techniques in our personal businesses? So friends, I got to tell you, I am excited. I'm excited about this particular series because I like to see companies grow. I know I love to watch my company grow, but not only do I want to grow it in terms of revenue, I want to grow it in terms of value. I want to grow my largest asset, my company, to a position where I can sell it at some point in the future. Whether that be to the team, the employees, through an ESOP style plan, whether it be through my children. You know, again, if you give it to your kids, we're not giving it away. We're going to sell it. We're doing this for a reason. We're doing this to add value. Maybe it's to a different company. Maybe it's a strategic or a financial buyer. But the whole purpose is let's grow a company with value. Now, here's a little intake into some future episodes. A company that is valuable is one that has extreme profit. Let me tell you that. But if we focus on value versus profitability, I'm not saying we're not going to forsake profitability. Obviously, profitability is one of the foundational points. But if we focus on value in addition to profitability, we will have companies that are the pinnacle, the peer leaders in their industries. We could build these. We could build companies to where we are the ones, us business owners are the ones who are asked to come speak at our conventions. We're the ones who are the best in class. but it doesn't happen overnight. This takes time, it takes energy, and we're going to dive into this over the next series of podcasts. And I don't know how long it will be. I have a feeling it's going to be 50 plus episodes. I have that feeling because of the sheer amount of data we're going to deal with. Maybe it's 60. Maybe it takes the rest of this year. Don't get lost in it. At the end of this, we will look back and realize what all we've learned in growing the value of our companies. Friends, I have a ton of information to cover, so let's work through the process of growing the value of your company. Hey, and with that, thanks for joining me today on this short introductory podcast to this new series that we're launching today. And as always, the show notes and links from today's podcast can be found at financiallysimple.com under the heading podcast. Hey, while you're on the blog, feel free to sign up for the weekly newsletter. Every week I release tax tips, business planning tips, wealth management tips, and so much more. And if you like the show, please subscribe, share the podcast with other business owners. Hey, if you tweet it out, shoot me a tweet, tag me in the tweet. I would love to see that. As I say every week, life is hard, life is good, and life can be frustrating. We know that. Being business owners can just want to make us pull our hair out, which is why I cut my hair so short. Anyways, money doesn't have to be frustrating. Let's continue to make our lives at least financially simple. Hey, y'all go out and create a great day.
You have been listening to the Financially Simple podcast. The information in this show is for informational purposes only. This show is not investment advice. Instead, seek help from a competent financial advisor. Justin Goodbread, CFP, is an investment advisor representative of Heritage Investors, a registered investment advisor.